I have a few people asking how I do my bounty, and in the interest of showing you, I'm going to show the Kixeye level 97 with two different methods. The first method is using my trenchers and my Harrower flagship. I will show 5 Warhounds later. What I'm doing here is I'm starting everyone out, just going towards this first gate, getting that down, shift clicking the second one, and killing that. This means that all the ships are out and there's an open path to the Overlord for your Harrower. Now this method does require a Harrower to be used with your trenchers because your trenchers don't do very well damaging ships. And yes, my trenchers are up to YouTube, but I've been doing this since trenchers were U0 and upgrades didn't really even exist yet, or at least I didn't have any. At this point, I started the battle, killed the first gate, sent my Harrower to the back, the 4 trenchers came and got the second gate, and then prepped out a few of the piranhas. Then I'm just going to send the Harrower in, and that's jobs to get the Overlord, because that's the big threat to this base. Because you can reach these portals from the outside, it's not actually protected very well. And the Harrower is invincible while it is moving. Again, if you don't have a Harrower, I will show the same thing with 5 U0 Warhounds in just a minute. Now there are a few gatekeepers here, and they can damage your Harrower a little bit, so you might need to practice to get the timing down, because if the gatekeepers do surface and fire when your Harrower is also surfaced, you might take a little bit of damage. The Harrower can actually hit underwater, which was changed from its initial release, which might have confused people, so I take out one of those gatekeepers I can easily reach, and then I kill the Overlord, which takes a few shots. Notice I'm out of the range of this decimator, which means I'm not taking any damage because the deflections are higher than all the other random turrets across here, and I'm not in range of anything else. Now once the second gatekeeper surfaces, I'm going to target that one. It is going to take a little bit of damage actually on my ship if I can't quite get that because it's firing off a few shots, but it's not too much, and if I was better clicking, it would definitely be instant repair. At this point, a Harrower is done. It can just sit there. I'm going to select everything else and just send those on in, the 4 trenchers. They can just charge right in, and I just want them to get past these 2 decimators as quickly as possible because once they're in this blind spot right here, I'm all good and nothing is going to fire at me. Using a Fearless Blitzer's crew and retreating and coming back in does help, and a Fearless Blitzer's crew does help at the very beginning when you're sending in 4 trenchers to kill the 2 portals. It just makes things go a little bit faster. It means you might take a little bit less splash damage, and it's just something that helps. Obviously not needed because I can do it without that. At this point, it's game over and you're into the base. I can just go ahead and finish everything up, press auto, and just go through the whole thing. Just be mindful that trenchers, because they can't actually spot gatekeepers, are pretty bad at going against those, which is why I'm using the Harrower. If you're interested on the trenchers, here's the repair. Most damage taken is maybe from these corrosive turrets and radioactive, and then ballistic from those 2 decimator cannons. My damage was pretty much all ballistic from the regular trencher weapons. This is 22 minutes repair, split up across 5 ships. It might be a little bit higher, might be a little bit lower. I will say when I use a Fearless Blitzer crew, that usually avoids all this corrosive damage, so I get down to more like 8 to 10 minutes repair. Anyway, here is the build if you're interested. It is, fairly standard, the same across all 4 trenchers, which are finally U2 just about as the tier 10 hull is coming out. A mix of armor types here, but the specials are fairly standard. And here's my Harrower, again, just built as a damage dealing ship. Nothing too special, nothing too fancy to go there. Now you may be wondering, if I don't have a Harrower, can I do it with other ships? Yes, you can. I'll be right back in just a second with my 5 U0 Warhounds. Let's see if we can get the 97 down to below like half an hour using 5 U0 Warhounds, and I will show my build afterward. So again, entering on the top right and immediately moving all ships forward because the Overlord is going to be firing as soon as I start here. You can see mortars are already hitting. You don't really want to spend that much time trapped anywhere, and the first thing you do is you take out the first gate. You just do that and run. You're not sending in the Harrower to this blind spot anymore, so you don't have to worry about the second one. Then you run away to the top right and you use your Warhounds, split them up a little bit, try and get the 2 piranhas firing at different ones because you'll take less damage that way rather than having both piranhas just shooting at the same ship. It does help, by the way, if you do have your sideways rockets pointing toward the piranhas. I'm trying to do this and kill them rather quickly because they do debuff my hulls. If they're shooting at different ones, my ships are going to get debuffed. They're going to be weaker less quickly because there's going to be 2 that are weaker instead of 1 that is really weak or maybe even takes damage if I mess up. Moral of the story, kill the piranhas. If you want to play it safe, retreat and come back in. Hopefully with a Fearless Blitzer's crew to try and reduce some damage taken from what's about to happen next. At this point, I'm going to run straight forward, try and get to the Overlord as quickly as possible, but make sure to stay out of its range. This thing will slow you down by 50%. If you get slowed down right when the corrosive turrets hit, you're going to take quite a lot of damage, so be really careful to try to avoid that. Also, these gatekeepers might end up surfacing on you, so try and target those quickly and kill them, because you really don't want to get hit by a whole volley of gatekeeper corrosive weapons, because they do hurt. The timing might take a little bit of practice. Once those 2 gatekeepers are dead, make sure you kill this first one, because you sometimes can't see it. Go ahead and kill everything else here. You've won now, the battle's over. You're in the blind spot, the decimators can't hit you, and these 4 turrets here can't hit you either. You're in their blind spot, you win. Just go ahead and press S or split up the ships and kill a few different things. Now this repair isn't going to be necessarily instant on map, but it might actually be instant on base. Full disclosure, when I did record a hit right before this, I got 55 minutes repair because I messed up, took a lot of corrosive damage in the process of killing the Overlord. This is why the Harrower is so helpful, because it's basically a free ticket to kill the Overlord and the 2 gatekeepers really easily. If you want to try what I did in the second half of the video, instead using 1 Harrower for 4 Warhounds, that works too. The only thing you can't do is 5 trenchers by itself. Any other combo of the ships I've shown here should work out well enough for you. Damage taken is pretty even across a few turret types, and it's actually pretty low. If you look at my ships, I've taken 17 minutes 34 seconds. As you can see, it's split up pretty evenly, so it's 5 minutes repair on each of them, or fairly close to that. The build is shown here. It's pretty standard, all U0. The armors are a concussive one and a ballistic one, which is not ideal for this base. It's more focused towards short-range turrets and player bases. There are 2 methods to do the 97 for instant base repair, one using some upgrade fleets and a special flagship, the other 5 plain U0 Warhounds, no crews used, although again they do help. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and leave me a comment and maybe a like or something like that. And as always, this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.